Hello, and thanks for joining me. So, I hope you are really starting to enjoy summer as it comes in here officially. Um, I don't know where you are, but I hope you're enjoying some beautiful weather if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and maybe having some beach time, some barbecues, all that stuff that makes summer wonderful. Getting in the pool, swimming in the lake, whatever it is. So, I've really been enjoying this season myself, and um, it makes me feel just free, just being able to go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. Just, not being cooped up is just a freeing feeling. And I wonder if you're experiencing some of that yourself. I personally, when I talk to people, I find that most people are really, when they're seeking happiness, if that's what they say they're seeking, it's usually um, mental freedom that most people are seeking. Freedom, a sense of peace, a sense of ease. I mean, isn't that what most people are seeking in life when it really comes down to it? So I was thinking about this because, well, not only just because June makes me feel free, but also because I feel like, in some ways we're either free or we're not, no matter what's going on. I know a lot of people, for example, in the colder months, will talk about having seasonal affective disorder. And there is truth to the fact that we're getting less sunlight in the darker months, and therefore, oftentimes, vitamin D deficiencies set in, which can lead to depression and things like that. And just people look around and see the gray sky, the grayness, the darkness, and it has an effect. And I'm not gonna deny that I feel amazing when the weather's amazing. But there might be something that we're missing here when we're making these associations. Again, I'm not dismissing the fact that there are biological components to mood and things like depression and that sort of thing when there's less light. And yet, if you think about it, studies have shown that people in Northern Europe, in the Scandinavian countries, for example, are some of the happiest people on the planet. And, half of their year is plunged in complete darkness. Well, not complete darkness, but several months are plunged in complete darkness. And so it does make you wonder, what about that is true and what is it that we're contributing to that belief? So this all has to do with this idea of freedom. Because what is freedom actually? Is freedom living in a free country and being able to have free speech and say what you want when you want, or go buy what you want when you want, or is that what freedom is? I mean, it's true that these are forms of freedom. These are kinds of freedoms that we in the free world can take advantage of, have access to. But if you if you want to talk about what true freedom is, that only happens in one way, and it happens inside. It has nothing to do with what's going on outside, actually, which is why people who understand this, who understand that freedom is an inside out experience, well, a couple of things. One, they can go through extraordinary hardship, for example, imprisonment, or other kinds of situations, and still find inner peace or still feel unburdened, or they're able to avoid things like depression or anxiety because they have mental freedom. And there are some people who have completely free lives, for lack of a better, as free as we can be on planet Earth, you know, and are completely imprisoned by their own thoughts. And so that's the difference. It's really our thoughts that determine how free we are. And this doesn't have to do with what kind of thoughts are coursing through our minds from one minute to the next, because every single one of us has positive thoughts and negative thoughts, and mixed thoughts, mixed feelings, all of that, right? We're all subject to the weather patterns of our mind, and no one spends all their days in complete peace or bliss. But the difference between a person who is mentally free and someone who's mentally imprisoned is that the person who's mentally free allows that all to flow through them without getting hooked by one particular thought or one particular belief system or thought system that will take them down. So, for example, you might be caught in a thought storm, right? And a negative mood, a really bad storyline about yourself. But it's the people who can recognize the storyline and not get caught in it and can see, oh, that's just a story that I'm telling myself. And Brene Brown uses that phrase all the time. She says, the story that I'm telling myself is, because we all make up narratives. We make up narratives about what our life means, or what our actions mean, or even what our thoughts say about us. We've created identities around the storylines that we've made up. We have identities, we associate that with certain personality traits that we, again, think that we have or don't have. And we create all sorts of stories around that. Like, I'm a shy person, or I'm an introvert, or I'm scared of speaking in public, or I have social anxiety. I don't like networking events. I'm bad at relationships. No, those are all the negative ones, right? But none of those are true, right? Those are just storylines that we imprison ourselves in, and some people call these limiting beliefs. But yes, they're limiting beliefs. They're storylines we repeat and we imprison ourselves in, and we get stuck there. So, true mental freedom is understanding that all of those things are created. I mean, sometimes some of them are created by other people, and then we take them on, or we internalize them. Many of them are created by us. Like, some of them have been with us for a very long time, since that time that bully picked on you in the schoolyard, or that time you weren't invited to so and so's birthday party in the second grade, and you were scarred for life. And so some of these storylines have been with us for so long that we don't even realize that we're still carrying them with us. And so they keep us imprisoned, they keep us stuck. So, how do we get to mental freedom? Well, one thing is that we really don't take any of these storylines seriously. Thoughts can be used to our advantage, or they can be used against us, and many of us use them as weapons against ourselves. If you use a thought in your service, then it's a high self-esteem thought, or it's a forgiving thought, or a thought of self-compassion. You know, I realize I've been carrying around this storyline since I was 10 years old, and maybe I thought it served a purpose, and maybe it's just limiting me. But I'm not a bad person or a failure for doing that. But it's just starting to have a different relationship to your thoughts and your belief systems and the storylines you've been carrying around. And if you start to see that really all of it is self-created, I mean, that's hugely freeing. It's hugely freeing to just be able to live moment to moment to moment and respond to situations as they happen and not have to be carrying around all the steamer trunks we've been carrying around. I mean, that's hugely liberating. That's mental freedom. And mental freedom doesn't mean you don't have a bad day. Not at all. We can all be mentally free and still get caught up in our negative thinking because that's human. But to just begin to see that really, really anything that we tell ourselves, it's not inherently true. And again, we can use certain storylines to bolster us and to help us, and we can use others to drag us down. So wouldn't you rather use the one that's going to strengthen you and bolster you? So it's just a thought for you to chew on a little bit, as you go through the week. Just really, when you catch yourself in one of those repetitive thought systems, ask yourself, like, what if this is not true? What if there's no truth to this whatsoever? What if I could, at this moment, pick another truth? What if I could create a new story with a happy ending? How about that? So, hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope that you are enjoying some beautiful weather wherever you are. And I will look forward to seeing you next week.